camera. I'm still getting stuff together. Running a bit late, unfortunately. But I'm here. I'm functional. Still awake. Not doing too bad. Hey, Marmar, nice to see you on. Got to find the right starter for the braid. Question is where is it amongst all my stuff? Now, these are a little smaller than the ones I wanted to get, but the next size up I've got is a bit too large. I may be out of the size I was planning on using. Hey, Gwen, nice to see you on too. Got the AC turned up high. All right, so do a quick check, final pass, see if I can find the size I was looking for amongst all my supplies. Ah, there they are. So this is the size I've been doing for the takadai braids. This is supposed to be a flat one, so rather than a square one. So I want to do a bit wider than this. So it's not all that much larger, though it does look like it. And this is the size I use larger than that. So I just set up a chest or something, or organizer with some drawers so that I can get everything I need together. All right, let me grab the book. Oh, there it is. I do warn you, I am a bit tired tonight, so I may not be as focused as I would normally be. I apologize for that. Let's see. Okay, so we were doing... I won't take time away from the stream to do this while we're streaming, but it was 101. I'll update the descriptions after I'm done today. All right. So 101. Oops. So we're going with this color layout here. So I start top and bottom, center the dark color, and then work my way out, 4 of each color. I'll use this as a garbage can. See if I can't not make it too big of a mess. So first thing I'm going to do is clear off some of these tama so that I can put new stuff on it. I'll use the trusty old box knife. Always making sure to point away from me. Yeah, I know I got a lot of fiber, but it's really short for what I do, and I don't do embroidery. So I'll see if my wife wants it before I toss it, since she does some embroidery. I'm essentially ready to start setting up for Rob's braid 2. I just need to do some calculations and see actually how slow I can get my drill press to run on its slowest speed. And a couple of the spools I need to modify so I can drill some holes in them so that they're easier to wrap up. All right, so there's 4 to start off with. And I was going to do black as the center. So I do have 4 of them here. I didn't make it out to get some from DMC or from Michael's or wherever for the DMC floss, but this should be pretty good. I noticed that today YouTube decided it was time to unsubscribe some people from me. They might have unsubscribed themselves, but from what I understand, it's more likely to be YouTube because a lot of people have said that when they go back to some of their favorite streamers and find they've been unsubscribed and they know they haven't done it. So anything interesting going on with you folks? Hey, Mari, nice to see you on. Just getting started setting up here. We're going to start with black in the center. And speaking of which, since I am doing 8 less tama on this one, I should remove 4 tama from the weight bag. Though, if I remember right, they may not be tama in there. It might just be stone. So I might have to bring up the scale and do a quick calculation. This one doesn't seem to want to come off, so let's see if I can't cut it off a little bit better. Again, making sure the blade's moving away from me. Guess I tied this one really tight. Doesn't help that, now let me move the lamp a little more directly so I can see better. There we go. I got it. Felder carb. I'll get that one later. Okay. So get the sharp knife out of the way. Hey, Erica, nice to see you on. All right, so weight bag here. Let's see if I can untie it enough to see what's in it. Oh, did I tie it? There we go. Yep, weight stones. Give me a second. I'm going to grab the scale. I'll be right back up. No problem. Mari, you're always welcome to watch as much or as little as you would like. And I'm definitely not going to try and police what anybody's doing while they're watching. Be right back. Alrighty, I'm back up here. Thank you for waiting. All right, so 24 tama is 200 or 2,400 grams. Let's see if I can do this without knocking everything on the floor. Okay. Grams. 1,200 grams. So, okay, that's weird. I could have sworn I had it set for 1,600. But 24 Tama, 1,200 gram counterweight. That was just perfect. But I are confused. So that probably explains why that. It's probably in the instructions for the last braid, and it explains why it had such a nice tight weave, because the counterweight was lighter than usual. All right. And to minimize the height of the bag, lets me braid longer before I need to raise it up. All right, that'll work. Okay. Since I'm just starting out, I'm going to do it. Yeah, better not do it that way. I won't get it off. Just leave it for a second here. Yeah. I do this around the bag. Okay, that'll work. Because if I need to get it off, once it's on, I just have to drop it down and go around. Okay. It's very important not to accidentally braid your weight, counterweight into the braid, because that's going to make you very disappointed. Hey, Bane, nice to see you on. It's been a while. Welcome back. Well, looks like we got a pretty good crew here tonight. We've got 7 or 8 so far. All right, so that'll work for that. So I'm just going to do a single double up of the Tama here. So let's see how well they wind these skeins compared to DMC. Okay. Accidentally pulled that one off my hand. Let's see if I can salvage the tangle. That wasn't nearly as bad as I was afraid it would be. All right, so pass that on through. Bring it back here. All right. Since the weight will provide the halfway point, let's even these up here. And tie it off in the leader knot here. Yesterday was not that great. I had a migraine at the end of the day, which fortunately doesn't seem to have lasted too long. But it made it a little bit difficult filling out some paperwork last night. And had to run a meeting over Zoom, which was not all that pleasant, especially since I was in my unair-conditioned garage and I wasn't really able to work on making it air-conditioned. Alrighty, let's see if we can't get this one wound up nicely. Now, hopefully Ian's starting to feel better. He wasn't, from what he said, he wasn't really up to hosting a show because he had work to do and wasn't feeling well. But he's got, I think, till Friday to get the get that factum done. So hopefully he can get that taken care of and it won't be stressful for him anymore. Okay, there's one there. And just so you folks can see what I'm doing, since this is supposed to be somewhat instructional and how-to as well. Hey, Jen, nice to see you on. Yeah, depending on how you count it, I've had either 5 or 6 migraines since the start of February, which is a whole lot less than I had been getting up to this point. So I'm still considering myself well ahead of the game at this point. Let's see. At this point, it's easier to pull this through. And pull that. Did I miss that one? Okay. Well, didn't tangle on me, so that's the important part. There we go. And for those of you who wanted to know what I looked like, since I don't normally show my ugly mug on camera, if you catch the replay on the dirty shop stream, meaning the shop was dirty, not that the stream of the shop was dirty, you can see what I look like there. There we go on that one. Let's tie this one off. Looks like we're getting a lot of the regulars on here. Hey, we're at 11. This is a really impressive stream. So thank you folks very much. As I understand it, it hasn't shown up yet on the back end in YouTube Studio, but they've announced that they are reducing the monetization requirements down from 1,000 subscriptions and 4,000 watch hours over the last year down to 500 subscriptions and 3,000 watch hours over the last year. So I'm roughly about 1,750 watch hours. So I need to get about another 1,250 watch hours for the year before the watch hours from last year start dropping off. I think I had a lot of watch hours just prior to this point, around this point last year. That's when the soldering video I had done kind of took off and was getting tons of views. It's also part of what convinced me that, hey, I could maybe actually do this YouTube thing. So I'm not sure when they're actually going to roll it out, but I have noticed that my watch hours are starting to climb, because just like a couple of months ago, it was running at about 11,000 or 1,100, not 11,000. If it's 11,000, I wouldn't have any problems right now with that. Butterfingers. Let's try this again. So what I'm going to do to try and keep the pattern nice and even is I'm going to do the two dark ones on this side. Then on the outside of that, I'm going to do the other two there. Then the outside of that, I'll do the next two over here. And that should keep the pattern or the colors even as I add these on. Well, thank you very much, Marmar. I really appreciate that. Fatma, I hope that's the right way to pronounce it. Welcome to the stream. Let me catch up here. See, okay, I don't think I missed anything. As always, if you can, to do the YouTube things, like and share the video. That is much appreciated. I do tend to forget, like a lot of people do. So those of you who do that are always appreciated, and they do help let YouTube know that people might actually be interested in what I do. So, admittedly, I find it interesting, but if I didn't find it interesting, I wouldn't be doing it. Hobbies that aren't hobbies tend not to be fun. Or hobbies that are not fun tend not, I am a little more tired than I thought, apparently, but I gotta try and figure a way to get more sleep on the weeknights because, all right, where's the end? Oh, there's the end of this one. Okay, because I work 10-hour shifts. I have about a 2-hour commute, and after I get home and eat, I have to wait roughly 2 hours after eating so I don't get reflux. And I try and do other things as well around those times so that it's not like just waiting time. I try to do these streaming times at times of the day where most of the US can theoretically watch it. Okay, why is that? Yeah, I'm going to cheat on this one and unwind it this way. There we go. And unfortunately, the weekends have not been cooperating as much lately either. One morning I woke up with a bad enough leg cramp. I wasn't able to get back to sleep after I got it relaxed. All right, so once again, a knot is not an actual knot until it's been pulled tight. So if you're very careful and don't pull hard to form a knot that isn't easily teased out, you're much better off, and you can actually usually get it undone. It took me a little bit to develop that skill and mindset. There we go. Much better. All right. Let's get to the end of that. Drop this down. And there we go. After this, I was going to do the red, then purple, then blue, then green, then white. Okay. Catch up on the chat here real quick. Yeah, unfortunately for me, most of the migraine treatments, the nice medicines like Imitrex, Maxalt, Zomig, and the like, don't work for me, and I get the side effects from them. So I feel like I'm having a heart attack, or I'm nauseous for 2 or 3 days with like Zomig. But the thing that seems to have helped me the most recently was getting on the CPAP machine. Basically, I started it the 2nd of February, and that seems to have been the point where my migraine frequency took a nosedive. Yes, this is the only printed Marudai I've done so far. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully, once it dries up just a little bit, so it'll be soft enough to weed, but not enough to be a horrible mess. Yep, that does help quite a bit as well from my experience. All right, let's get this one tied off and rolled up, and we'll get on to the next one. And we'll only have 20 left to go. And since I don't remember how many knots I tied, times I went through the knot, let's do it one more just for safety. And hopefully not dropping it on the floor. But I figure this weekend I will probably get the most of the spools wound for Rob's braid. I want to get that started relatively soon. I'm going to have to take a break on it probably when I go, when I go vacationing. And like July 22nd to August 13th is when I'm going to be gone. I will be doing my best to stream or upload videos while I can. One of the things I'm going to try and do tonight is get Ian's time-lapse video assembled and time-lapsed so that I can post that. Yeah, that's about the right length. There we go. And starting to hold the D-ring in place. Okay. Yeah, gravel pit's a little bit easier to deal with. I take Norco for my immediate pain relief, since the stop migraine medicines don't work for me. And it's not great, but it cuts just enough of the edge off the migraine that I'm semi-functional most of the time. If I've got if I got a painful migraine, it won't even feel like I've taken anything. If I got a moderate migraine, like I said, it cuts the edge off. If it's one of the ones where you get the visuals and no pain from it, and I've taken it before I can tell which way it's going to be, those ones I feel kind of fuzzy-headed, and I really don't like that feeling. So I only take it when I absolutely have to, like it's a clear migraine. That, and I know that it's easy to build up a tolerance, and when I have a migraine, I really do want the pain relief. So I do my best so that I never actually build up a tolerance, and it's available when I need it. So, but I think the other reason I don't really have issues with it is because it does not make me feel good or nice. It just makes me feel fuzzy and unpleasant. So I guess I'm one of those fortunate, semi-fortunate, unfortunate persons that it just barely works on. My wife, most painkillers don't work on her at all. We think she's got one of those genes that have a liver enzyme that really super quickly catalyzes that. When she had her last surgery, she got out. They gave her Dilaudid for the pain, and it made her nauseous and made the pain even worse because she was nauseous. And when they offered her another shot, it was like, no, don't give that to me ever again. If you give that to me, I'm going to climb out of the bed and strangle you with it. She was really not happy with that. Fortunately, the anesthesia seemed to work on her okay. So she doesn't have to be awake for surgeries. Alrighty. The Novocaine and Septicaine and the like don't work for her at the dentist, but she's also fortunate that she's never really had cavities either, so she hasn't had to have a lot of drilling. Me, I've got like about 8 crowns because unfortunately I seem to have inherited the mouth flora that promotes tooth decay, so I have to be religious about brushing my teeth and seeing the dentist like every 4 months, or I wind up having to get new crowns fairly quickly. But I've been doing pretty good for the last decade. Haven't had any new crowns in that time frame. So okay, we're on to the red. Let me catch up with the chat here real quick. My roommate used to have a cat that would like to be walked, would have a harness on. She also had another cat that you put a collar on him and he fell over and stopped working. Took the collar off, he was fine. Don't know if it was one of those things where it triggers the neck, where you can like put a clip on the neck and they just kind of like fall over and don't really do much, which is vets have started using that to help keep cats calm for cleaning and minor procedures and stuff like that, and shots. But apparently it was quite amusing. Well, did get it tossed in the embroidery thread box, but it knocked the box over, but it landed on the bed, so it's all good. I need to do another 4. Let's see, we got 13 people on YouTube, and how many do we have on Rumble? Let's take a quick check there. Refresh that. Looks like it's just 1 person on Rumble. I will definitely update the description for YouTube and Rumble with the particular braid I've got. I did have somebody in the comments for another video asking good sources for books for braiding, so I'm going to have to look up the other books I've used, where to get them if they're still available. First book I had was Creative Kumihimo by Jackie Carey, if I remember right, which is a pretty good starter book. I really do like Makiko's book, just mainly for the amount of information in it. I don't remember if she's got a new version out or new edition out that has more English in it, but I found since the advent of smartphones and things like Google Translate, I can use my smartphone to aid in the translation if there's something I don't understand with it. And sorry if I'm breathing a little heavy tonight, but it's a bit warm and I don't do as well when it's warm, which is one of the reasons why I am trying to get the air conditioning set up in the garage as soon as I can. And once that's done, I might be moving the braiding streams out there. Probably have more shop streams out there as well. I did get all the engraving done for the signs I'm supposed to have ready before I go on vacation. And I picked up the remaining bar clamp I needed. So I will get the pieces glued and clamped together. And then once the glue is dry, I will then get kind of a back bracing for the frame done. Get that glued and screwed together. And then it'll be ready to be polyurethaned and painted. I was talking to my wife about it, and she was thinking that we would paint in the engraved areas first and then polyurethane it after it. But I pointed out that given that it's unsealed wood, if we paint in the engraved areas before sealing it with like polyurethane, the paint or dye or whatever that we wind up using is going to wind up probably wicking through some of the wood fibers and spreading out from the area that's painted. So we'll polyurethane, paint the colors in, and then do another layer of polyurethane over the top. Sorry to hear that the air quality is bad where you are. I didn't notice it being too bad where I was, but I probably am not paying as close attention as I should. Yeah, we've got a cat that we can tell would love to be walked outside, but he doesn't like wearing a collar or at all, and I don't think we could get a leash on him to walk him around. He is chipped, so hopefully if something happened, we could get him back. But about 7 years ago, we had a cat that had feline urinary syndrome, and the vet would not prescribe us his cat food unless we brought him in for a visit. So we got him in the cat carrier. We're taking him out to the car, and the bottom dropped out of the cat carrier. And he was scared, took off running, and we never saw him again. The most enraging part of that, other than the fact that we lost him trying to take him into the vet, was when we were calling up to cancel the appointment. They said, "Do you want to reschedule?" It's like, we don't even know if we're going to find the cat. So no, we do not want to reschedule. I consider myself that I was very restrained because I did not swear or raise my voice to any more stress levels than I was at currently while we were looking, but it was very frustrating for me. And he was chipped, but nobody ever reported him. We hope he found a new home, but hopefully, if that was the case, they were able to get him to a vet because he did need the special food, or he started having serious problems and was not able to pee. So anyway, sorry, didn't mean to be so depressing. I do apologize for that. That was not my intent. All right, let's see what we can do this one. DMC is actually pretty good about making sure their skeins are wound the same way or consistently. Hey, Catherine, nice to see you on. Welcome to the stream. I should probably turn on music while I'm doing that since I can't really talk at times when I do that. Okay, so I'm going to do this side, and there we go. Sorry to hear that, Jen. I understand that's not very pleasant. And let's tie it off. And tie that off again. And there we go. So my plan for this week is I will stream again Thursday night. Probably be working on this braid. I may or may not have made progress on getting the spools wound for Rob's braid. But after that, I still need to get the set everything up on the warping frame before I'm ready to do the Tama. I will probably wind up doing the setup as a locals member-only stream, just because I'm still somewhat embarrassed about how clean things are up here when I'm going to be setting it up. And let's see, here we go. Oh, just in case anybody didn't see it last time, I still have the finished braid from the last one here. Let's see. Let me get a nice close-up on it. So, bring that back into focus. I wound up getting a manual focus camera for this because I figured with my hands moving around all the time, having an autofocus would just drive people to rage. Hopefully that's not too loud. Yep, and being white, it also tends to mess with the white balance to begin with. Okay. There we go. For those that haven't seen it, well, I'm going to see if I can bring up real quick Rob's braid. Let's see. I've got a password manager, but the way the login is set for the program for programming the takadai braid. Let's see, let me. Okay, import pattern. There we go. Let's see. Go. Switch to edit and settings. I'm sorry. Actually, let me show you what I'm doing so I don't look like I'm just staring off in space here. Let me share the screen here real quick. Share screen. There we go. Share. Okay, there we go. All right, let me okay, and switch it to the 1x1. There we go. And settings. So regular pattern color is red. Kind of a dark red, so that'll work. And background color is kind of a gray. That should work. And go back to edit. There we go. Gray's probably a little dark, but that's going to be the pattern for Rob's braid. All right, let's stop sharing that. And let's get this back into focus. That looks a little better. It's a little dark, but it's not quite so shiny on the eyes until I get... Okay, thank you for your patience, everybody. I do the full... let's see, I do the full 6 strands. I'm just basically doubling it over, wrapping it around the D-ring I'm using, and then I tie the ends to the leader. If I remember before I finish, I'll show you the actual cones that I have the silk for the one for Rob. For the one I'm going to do for him, what I do is I take 12 silk threads and warp it up together as a bundle. And that's what my warping frame is supposed to do. Oh, the other fun things I have to do this weekend is Friday. I have a doctor's appointment at 8 in the morning. I might have an overtime shift, and then at 1:30 I have to get my brakes worked on because I'm going to be driving from one end of Pennsylvania to the other, and I'd really rather not break down in the middle of Pennsylvania in the middle of the night with a brake problem, where like one of my brakes locks up and can't drive it without getting the hub glowing red hot. At one time when I was going to this event, I was picking up a friend in just outside of New York in New Jersey. He took the train across and picked him up. And in northern New Jersey, right before entering Pennsylvania, we hit a horrible pothole. It cracked my rim entirely, and there was no place that was nearby that was still open since it was a Friday evening that could repair it in time. So I had to put on the little donut spare, and then we drove very carefully over the middle of the night where we could go a little slower than normal to get the 300 some mile, or yeah, about 350 miles to get to the campsite. That was a rough trip. Just want to again thank everybody who shows up for these streams. It makes them much more enjoyable for me. I hope it's fun for you guys too. I'm assuming if it wasn't, you wouldn't be here, so, but I still want to say thank you. If Ian's catching this either live or on the replay, thank you again, Ian. The fact that you like listening to my streams while you're working makes me very, very happy, and I know I've said that multiple times. Unfortunately, I'm running much slower than I was expecting to tonight. We're about just over 50 minutes in, and I am working on 7 out of 24. So I will not actually be starting this braid tonight, but I think I'm doing pretty well, so that if I start at like 7:30 my time on Thursday evening, I should be able to get all of them warped on by about 9 o'clock my time at the latest. I will probably run for about another half hour, 40 minutes or so tonight. And between the two, I should be able to start at the end of Thursday night's stream. Probably do like a couple iterations through, just kind of getting a feel for the braid. I will have to look at how much work I've got ahead of me for getting ready for traveling. If it's not too bad, I will try and do a Friday evening stream before Rob does Friday Night Frenzy. Since I'll be free after I get my breaks done, and I'm hoping that'll only take a couple of hours. I'd probably get that started maybe about 6 o'clock p.m. my time, so I can get probably a couple hours of that, get some decent braiding in. There we go. Actually, thinking about it, I only have 24 strands to do. This is 8, so this is essentially a third of the way through. So Thursday night, I should definitely be able to have a few times braiding through. Let's get this one. There we go. Yes, they're more fun with other people. Though I had a strange thought as far as doing live streams by yourself. I won't mention the person in particular who brought this thought, but I was... you'll probably be able to tell from the reference. I keep checking the Minnesota court records thing to see if there's any motion on Nick's court case, and it's getting close to like 90 days without, well, not 90, April 10th, May 10th, yeah, about 75 days without, or 70 days without any action on it, which seems to be a long time. He's got a scheduling conference that was originally scheduled for the end of July that's now like the 1st of August. So they pushed it back like maybe a week. Though if they decide to go with his motion to dismiss / anti-slap, they won't need a scheduling conference unless maybe the judge decides to allow for sanctions given the frivolous nature of the suit. Hope the background music is pleasant and not annoying. If it is, or if you guys would like me to switch tunes, just let me know. I'm happy to do that. I'm trying to figure either a good service or something like that where I can get some better sounds that I can play during streams or add into videos. I was using Ben Sound because I've got some attribution licenses, where as long as you give them proper attribution in the description, you can use their music. But they've changed their setup now, where instead of just doing attribution text, you actually have to, oops, I have a knot in here. I might have accidentally pulled that tight. Sorry guys, I gotta bring this up. There we go. Helps if I press the right button. I need to be able to see on this. I don't know, the blue light doesn't really show colors their best, but it does let me see what I'm doing. But yeah, so now you can still use it for no cost. You just have to attribute it, but you also have to generate a license key that's unique to each download you do. There we go. Caught that one before it hit the floor. So I can still do it. It's just a little more work on my end. Is not an unreasonable amount of work. I can entirely understand that they want to make sure that they use their advertising for their service, which is essentially what my using it is for them. I might wind up going for like a better pay service. Gives me a little more variety, and I don't have to like generate a new key each time. I don't need that right now. So I was going to do purple next. And that's 4 more tama. Yep. My understanding, if I remember right, though admittedly my information for this was routed through in part through somebody who, shall we say, was a bit of a confabulist. But he didn't always do it, so I just can't guarantee that it's good, but I also can't guarantee it's bad. Well, I do know, and I've heard from other sources, that silk was used in addition to armor to help prevent being shot at, or injuries from arrows. And early versions of ballistic vests were multiple silk wraps. And being a tough fiber, like Kevlar is, the amount of force necessary to like shred it as a bullet would pass is why it was providing resistance. But while silk is not as good as Kevlar on that purpose, it's still a lot better than other fibers. Oh, yep, Bane, that's what I was saying too. Though admittedly I was not looking at the screen, I was trying to remove that knot. And like I said, even though the person who originally told it to me, I wouldn't necessarily rely on for actual information. I think I'd heard enough from other sources that I wasn't willing to discount it just because he had said it as well. He wasn't quite to the, if he tells you the sun rises in the east, you'd better go out and check and verify yourself before you trust it. I have had some people I've known like that. And knowing those people and realizing how I thought about them is part of what helped me grow out of my late teens into a more mature person. Because while I would have fun essentially writing stories and sharing them as if they were, well, not writing, but writing them in my head and sharing them as if they were real, it wasn't like, an attempt to deceive or pull something over on somebody. But again, it wasn't really factual. It was more of just kind of a creative storytelling thing. But seeing how people who were less ethical, I wasn't really that ethical. I just wasn't trying to use it to do anything. But seeing how I viewed those people and how much I respected them, aka not a lot, is part of what made me get to where I was as scrupulously honest as I could be. I wouldn't state things as fact if I was only reasonably sure. It's helped me in other stuff, especially on discussions or debates where in addition to looking for sources that would support my viewpoint, I would also look for sources to debunk my viewpoint so that I didn't spread misinformation or use a source that was easily disproven. So, which has kind of served me well. I don't actually get in a lot of discussions, but when I do, I think I do a fairly decent job of getting my argument across in a way that's not too embarrassing. Yeah, I'm aware it didn't work well, but it kind of. Sorry, let me bring that up when I'm talking about. I know it didn't really work well, but it was better than other options. So something that would have been fairly dangerous was only. That would have been extremely dangerous was only fairly dangerous. Yeah, I wound up changing my friend group a lot over the next 5 to 10 years after I came to that realization. Yeah, I tend to try and only get in discussion and debates with people who, can handle it like a lot of the lawyers we know do, in that it's a discussion. You may not agree at the end of the day, but you're trying to express your viewpoint and you listen to their viewpoint. And, you may learn something. They may learn something. The horse might learn to sing. But I also realized that a lot of internet arguing is a spectator sport. You're not going to convince the person you're talking to because people get too entrenched in their position. So you need to approach the argument from essentially talking to the audience and helping them decide, the ones that are not super entrenched on their position. So. Which usually means I'm a fair bit more polite than I would be when I'm arguing or discussing with somebody who is not discussing fairly, as in they ignore your points and expect you to concede immediately to their points, even if you don't agree with them or have counter arguments. Apparently, my migraine from yesterday is not entirely gone. I'm hoping it'll be gone by tomorrow. I tend to, when I have migraines, I'll have the main impact of the migraine, which usually lasts about a day for me. And then it kind of fades off and I'll sleep. And then the next day, I'll kind of have a bounce back headache that lasts for half a day and then gradually fades out. On the really bad migraines, that process might take a week. On the really good ones, the initial onset will only last, the initial phase will only last like an hour or two, and then I don't have any bounce back. So. I was having a nice discussion with my sister the other night. We have a family teleconference, and my sister is about a year older than me, and she just recently had attention deficit diagnosis. She had a bit of trouble with that because the first doctor she saw that did testing and evaluation, she tested that she had it. She fit the profile as far as that, but her doctor or therapist, whichever, I don't remember exactly who she saw, had said that he thought that because she did well in school, it must be depression, not attention deficit issues. But she did go see another therapist who says that based on the tests and the evaluation and whatnot, she clearly has it. So she's been starting a new medicine to help her deal with that. And it's been working pretty good for her. She's gone from being able to focus at work at maybe an hour or two at a time to where she can actually do about 6 hours of productive work before she needs to take a mental break and kind of recharge from that. But anyway, the reason I was bringing that up is that she was talking about how one of the issues that with attention deficit is not dealing well with time and how much time it takes to do certain things, and being able to like estimate it. Like, you're working on something, you figure it's taking you about 20 minutes, and then you find out it's been an hour, and how people with that particular aspect of it tend to be late a lot. And that's been a major factor in my life, where I would like usually always be like a half hour, an hour late to something because I was trying to do things, and it's like, oh no, that took longer than I expected. And I've had to set up a lot of coping strategies to be able to not have that issue as I've been going on. I still kind of figure I'm going to be able to do more than I actually do in a given time frame, but I've gotten a lot better at timing out, actually measuring how long it takes me to do certain things, like get to work and whatnot, and be able to set alarms and reminders to the point where I can actually cope a lot better than I have been as far as time management. Just kind of glad I was never in the military when it was really bad for me, because I believe that is a very strong, they're very large source for the attitude that early is on time and on time is late, because I would not have done well in that environment. Sorry, let me catch up here. I've been not keeping up with the chat as well as I should. Let me see where I last. Okay, there we go. Yeah, definitely not worth it unless you're doing it as a spectator sport. Yep. But yeah, I'm definitely planning on talking to my neurologist and see what the best way to go forward with that is. Because now that I'm on the Pro Vigil and I'm actually like not half asleep most of the time, I'm starting to notice that I don't concentrate as well as I remember doing so, or I'm more aware of my deviations in concentration than I used to be. And given that I'm kind of switching over my day job to where I'm doing more programming, where I've got to really pay attention to a lot of different details and make sure I don't make mistakes, because when I do, machines might get damaged and the like, and valuable material for parts will be unusable. So I'm trying to figure the best way to go forward with that. Okay. Only 2 more, and we're actually at the halfway point of getting this set up. Yeah, my wife's family does that for family events. There are people that are always late to it, so they get told that they're taking place about a half an hour before they actually are, and they kind of get there on time. Well, I'm hoping to put mine off for about another 450 years. There was an old Time article in the 90s that said if you can live the next 50 years, you might be able to live the next 500 as well. So I've got that as a goal. Oh, and speaking of the foot issues I was having, I'm doing much better. The stretching exercises are helping a lot. I actually can walk without a limp now. And I am wearing inserts, and will be switching in after my vacation to custom orthotics. Also going to be going to physical therapy to build up the muscle groups so that and the flexibility I need, so I don't have this as a problem going forward. And I'm really shooting for, hopefully by the end of the year, to be maybe about 50 pounds lighter. Okay, there we go. Go. Looks like I started this one from the wrong spot. I have to do a little bit of pulling out at weird angles. Fortunately, it shouldn't take too long to get past that point. Okay, hopefully that was all that was needed there. Tomorrow night, I'm going to make sure to get the old wood burning stove out to the sidewalk, because Thursday morning here is our garbage/recycle. Want to get it out at least by Wednesday night, put a sign on it saying free, so if somebody wants a 55-gallon barrel stove conversion, they can have it for free. Oh, one of the other things I was going to mention, I was having issues getting one of the boards properly secured down for engraving. It took a lot of extra work, and I got to thinking the vacuum pump that I got for being able to properly evacuate the lines and then charge with coolant for my mini split. Oops. Don't want that to get too tangled up in there. And let's carefully, there we go. It's supposed to be pretty good for pulling gases out of epoxy for clear bubble-free epoxy pores. But one of the things on the large CNC routers at my work is we hold down most of the work with vacuum tape, the vacuum table on them. And you can just put like a board or sheet of plastic or whatever and turn it on, and the vacuum holds it down on the table securely, and you're able to do a lot of machining work with it without it moving at all. So I'm thinking if the vacuum pump I've got is rated high enough, I can get or build a small vacuum table for my CNC router, and then when I want to do signs like that, I don't have to worry about doing the painter's tape on both sides and super gluing them together. I can just make sure that I've got the proper size or the gasket running in the proper grooves, put it down, turn on the vacuum, make sure it's got a good seal, and go to town. When I'm done, turn off the vacuum pump and just lift it off. That will make things so much easier with that CNC router. Thank you. If you guys want, when I'm ready to stop for the night, I've got 3 of the 4 boards. Actually, I've got all 4 boards here, and I can show them all to you before I glue them together to make the signs. But yeah, I think after this one, I will go ahead and stop for the evening, because I do need to get to bed relatively early tonight. I have not been getting enough sleep, and I'm trying to build up more sleep so that ProVigil doesn't have to work as hard to keep me awake. Okay. So yeah, after I get this one tied off and set up, I will go ahead and grab the boards. If anybody has anything they would like to discuss before the end of the stream, now would be the time to think about letting me know. And I will probably end the stream in about another, say, 5 to 7 minutes. The shop stream actually seemed to do really well, so I'm thinking about doing more of those, probably on the weekends. They might run a bit longer than my normal braiding streams, just because I'll be moving around and won't be talking quite as much. The camera I've got there to monitor my CNC routing work doesn't seem to want to play well with StreamYard. So I'm wondering if maybe getting a second monitor out there might be easier, or possibly bringing up an instance of StreamYard in my main house computer, and then doing that as a separate feed to StreamYard in the garage. I will have to do some testing on that. I'm not sure that'll work, because I don't know if StreamYard will let you operate on multiple computers at the same time. But yeah, I pay like $50 a month for StreamYard, so I can do the high resolution streaming. I hope that pays off in the long run for you folks being able to see a better production values. But yeah, we just have the blue, green, and white left to go, and then we're ready to start braiding. I should be able to get that all done Thursday and get at least a few iterations on the braid. So let me go ahead and grab the board so you guys can see it. Yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel page and click on the live tab, it'll be the one just prior to this one as you go down. I entitled it as Dirty Shop Stream, not because shop streaming is dirty, it's because my shop is dirty, and it's kind of an incentive to try and get me to clean it up. All right, so let me grab those boards. I'll be right back up. Okay, so period games tent with period games. So we have chess, 9-men Morris, and a labyrinth. So it's labyrinth, 9-men Morris, whoops, and chess. And what I'm going to do is I will be gluing these together this way. And then once they're glued, I'll take some 1x2 and run a frame all the way around the edge, which will be glued down and then screwed so that if the glue cracks or anything like that, it won't like suddenly fall apart. And that'll, even if the glue breaks along this seam, the frame should keep it together so it will last longer. And that's where I was having trouble with this. This was the side I intended to originally engrave on it, and it, let's see, give you a better view of that. It pulled it off the table. And for the other side, we have Modern Games tent. And for Modern Games, we have cards, which I know were also Pokemon, and D20 for role-playing games. So like I said, we're going to polyurethane it, then we'll do, some of them will be, the letters will probably be black. We might do different colors for the different game icons there, and then polyurethane over it again to seal in the paint. Oops, wrong one, it jumped up while I was doing that. Glad to hear the sunset was decent. Hey, Wolfblades, nice to see you. Yeah, this is it's been a while since I've seen you on. This is a 3D printed Marudai that I did. It is made out of ABS. And ABS has some issues printing if you can't keep the thing heated. So I don't think I'm going to use ABS going forward. But let's see. Okay, so I think that's was a pretty good stream. Looks like we peaked out at about 16 attendees. Let's take a quick look at Rumble. Still nobody wants to chat on Rumble, but we got 2 people watching there. So I think this has been my probably the, not counting the stream with Ian, this is my biggest regular stream. So thank you everybody for who's watching it, and all the new people who joined from Rob and Ian promoting the channel. I want to thank them and thank you. And hope everybody has a good week, and stay safe and happy braiding. We'll see you on Thursday.